Hey, everybody. So apparently we had so much to say about reality TV that before we knew it, we had exceeded over an hour of content. So we decided to bust this up into two parts. So I give you the first installment of reality TV. Enjoy.
This is the world according to Jen and Carolyn.
Good evening. Gonna reprise my Dracula voice. I'm all over the place in terms of holidays, man. It ain't even Thanksgiving. I got my tree up.
Dude, this bitch fucking has, I walk in and it's like motherfucking Christmas
It
grew
is.
up in your house. It's
I know.
beautiful.
It's
but
a
I
lot.
I'm very like, I can't do Halloween until October 1st.
Yeah.
I can't do Christmas till December 1st.
I'm not linear like that because it all depends on my availability
That's
to
a
do
good
this
point.
stuff.
That's true.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm here this weekend. This is a 2 to 3 day process. I'm gonna move this shit out slow style.
You know, Jen, you're keeping it real.
I'm
I
really
appreciate that.
keeping it real crazy. Also,
Do you like my segue?
Yes, yes, exactly, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Not decorating for the holidays prematurely, but reality TV, or rather the shit show that is the reality TV empire.
And we're pretty real at this point.
I would say so. us as podcast hosts, oh yeah, for sure.
And I love our TikToks are always pretty authentic because there's been times where I'm just straight from work, we're I don't have time to glam.
It's true. Well, we're more authentic than reality TV.
I think so.
And we'll get into that too, because as you know, it's not like reality TV that we grew up with.
No.
In the early days of reality TV, and we'll talk about this, like the real world.
Yeah.
Like the first, second, even like maybe, I don't know, through the 5th season.
Absolutely.
These people were real.
Yeah.
And then it got real glam and real Hollywood and real produced.
Yeah.
But anyway.
The 90s.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So, everyone has a friend who doesn't partake in the national pastime that is watching and discussing reality TV. I would like to say I'm that friend, but...
I never can talk to you about this stuff.
Well, I don't watch like Housewives and stuff as you saw when we went to New Orleans, and by like the last day that we were there, we're like, dude, we just need to go back to the hotel room and order food and rest and watch garbage TV. Like we were half dead. And you and Blanca were just chit-chatting about the Real Housewives. I had nothing to contribute.
That. Yeah.
Nothing.
I know. It's very rare that you don't have something to contribute to.
I know. So, I mean, the only thing I think I watch on occasion is Selling Sunset.
You watch reality like home shows and things like that.
That's true.
That's different.
That's true.
That's a different genre.
Yes, and we'll get into the differences. Yeah. So, it's all over the place, right? From Survivor to the Kardashians to the Real Housewives franchise. What is it about reality TV that intrigues us? We want to dissect our fascination with this, incredibly popular genre, which I always thought started in the 90s with like the Real World. But the timeline I found went way back.
I can't wait for everyone to hear this because I was shocked.
Yeah, right? There's things that, like, I never thought of game shows as reality TV.
Me neither.
It's not
but
reality
it's true.
TV as we know it. But yeah, the more I started to think about it, I'm like, this fits.
Yeah, absolutely.
This fits. So we're going to talk about, the history of it, the good, the bad, the fake, all that jazz. So, Carolyn, what's your all-time favorite?
I can't pick, Jen. I mean, as you know, I am a reality TV, I'm that person.
Yeah.
Who I've seen it all. I love it all. Especially, it's weaned off a lot more now, but especially between the ages of 18 and 30.
Uh-huh.
I worked a lot, and so I didn't. I couldn't go take vacations. I didn't have finances for that. So these were like my ways to see the world or look at cool shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna float down the Amazon in a raft on Survivor. Yeah, let's eat some bugs.
And I loved it. And I just remember when the 2000s, Survivor was a big one for me. But I always loved this is really a throwback, but even like public TV, like KQED, like I'd watch the like early cooking shows.
Oh yeah.
And I count that as reality TV because like we love these characters. Cook. And then we went and saw like, you know, Jacques Pepin and like all these things at Macy's and like, I don't know, but I've always loved we loved America's Funniest Home Videos with Bob Saget.
Oh,
like, you know, and I definitely, the first, like, I would say, like, reality with celebrities was the Surreal Life.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I watched a bit of that. With Paris, right?
Tammy Faye Baker, Flavor Flav, Brigitte Nielsen.
Oh, no, it's not Tammy Faye Baker. It's, oh, God, why can't I think right now? It was Tammy Faye Baker in it?
Uh-huh.
Wait, really?
The Surreal Life. It's a great season.
Shit. Okay, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of the one with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie.
Oh, that was, oh my God. I can't think of the name.
Simple Life?
The Simple Life.
Is that what it was?
The Two Simples, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved all this. I've seen then, like, again, MTV was where I found out. MTV and VH1.
Yep.
And TLC. So yes, the real world. Oh my God. Because we didn't have cable when I was a kid.
Yeah,
so
we didn't
I remember when I first moved out on my own and had roommates and we would like, I binge watched like all the seasons.
The world's my oyster.
Of the real world. I know. And pop-up video was so cool.
Pop-up video.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was really big for me. But it was like an activity. Like it was a social thing where we'd all get together. We'd watch an episode.
Yeah.
But I love Real Housewives. In fact, I have friends that they went to BravoCon the same way you love Vampire Diaries. Imagine doing that with a bunch of Bravo fans.
Wow.
But, you know, and I love Home Fix It. So I love all things reality TV, and I have a lot of opinions.
All right.
All this.
Well, we're going to get to some of your opinions as well as what the experts say, but you are an expert. You know, again, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but again, the real world is my shit. And I remember, you know, San Francisco, obviously I watched that because who doesn't want to see a reality show set in their town? And also, like, Puck was a piece of garbage. Pedro was life. He was amazing. And then the Seattle one, the dude who slapped that chick, Steve, who slapped. Oh my God, that was a slap heard round the world. It was awful. Yeah. But, you know, it was interesting to watch that show. Like I said, go from one that started with really real people to a more like synthetic, super attractive Hollywood vibe.
Yes.
So, that's pretty much it. So, you know, I think we got to go history lesson because we always do that here. And I think some of these things, like they surprised us, will surprise you. So this goes back to 1948, y'all. Reality TV in the 40s. So Alan Funt.
That's a great name.
Funt. You're such a funt.
You're such a funt.
See you next Friday? No, that doesn't work. So Alan Funt brought his popular radio show Candid Microphone to television as Candid Camera. That is noted as the birth of reality TV. Then you had January 1956. So after years of airing locally in Los Angeles, Queen for a Day, which I've heard of but never saw. It went national on NBC, and it basically took like a housewife and they would tell their tales of woe and stress as a housewife, because we all know the domestic life is actually a really 100%. Hard one. And then they'd get to be queen for a day. Really nice, like Mother's Day. So December 1965, Chuck Barris adds a new twist to the reality genre with The Dating Game. Holy shit. Do you know about The Dating Game, Killer?
No.
Okay, so I have to delve into this because as a true crime aficionado, this is a goddamn trip. So The Dating Game, it runs until 1973. That's what it says. But I feel like this happened later, but maybe it didn't. So there was a guy named Rodney Alcala who was later dubbed as the Dating Game Killer. So this guy was an absolute piece of shit. I'm not going to go into all the terrible things that he did, which includes nearly killing and sexually assaulting a child. I'm going to have to add a trigger warning at the beginning of this one. But he got out like a bunch of, you know, errors in the system. Somebody who never should have seen the light of day again got out and kept murdering women. This motherfucker then he got on the dating game after he was already, you know, he had murdered several women at this point, but it hadn't been caught. And he got on the dating game. Motherfucker creeped the woman out. He won. She's the one that he selected, because if you remember the dating game, you can't see the people, and he was decent looking. Okay. Can't see the people.
Most homicidal killers.
Yeah, right? I know. He was no Ted Bundy, but he was all right looking. And so I'll never forget, he was like, if I were a fruit, peel me like a banana, like really fucking sick shit.
Ew.
And so she met him and they were supposed to go on a date. And she went to the producers, and said, I don't feel comfortable going out with this guy.
Good for her.
Good for you, girl. Listen to your
Trust
gut.
your instinct.
Trust your gut. Anyway, I just think that's an interesting aside. Interesting fun fact about the dating game.
Most dating is meeting homicidal weirdos. I would say most women
most dating is taking your life into your hands. I agree. And then we have 1973. PBS debuts An American Family, which is a 12-part series documenting an ordinary American family. The Louds of Santa Barbara. 10 million people tuned in to watch this. Crazy.
This is amazing.
Orla, why? So this is when my dog decides to get up and move around and shake her collar. Just lay down, for the love of God. You can't be our mascot anymore unless you lay down. Anyway, so I really have to check this out because one of the kids was openly gay, and this was in 1973. So that's pretty progressive and awesome.
I asked my mom if she remembered this, and she's like, I don't remember this at all. We need to. We definitely need to check this out.
We're gonna have to.
Huge in the 70s to have the first openly gay. They call it a character, but it's like, no, he's not a character. He's himself.
Yeah.
On television.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Huge.
Really curious.
Because before then, there weren't gay people, right?
No, they didn't exist.
It was a choice.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
We're kidding.
We didn't show this on TV.
Kidding.
Yeah. At minimum, you didn't show it on TV. But yeah, we are kidding. So this one I love. March 1989, we have Cops.
Yes!
Cops. Filmed on location. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Cops is really problematic for a number of reasons, but I think most of us watched it. Mm-hmm. It's still on. It's still on. Yep. The show is still going strong after 20 seasons and over 700 episodes. This timeline isn't that old. I don't either. I always think of that scene in Step Brothers where it's like, why are you so sweaty? He's like, I've been watching Cops. November 1994, hours after the final episode of The Real World San Francisco airs on MTV, cast member Pedro Zamora died of AIDS. Really sad. The gay AIDS educator gripped viewers thanks to his highly charged exchanges with the hygiene challenged Puck. That is such a great way to describe him. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe 2000,
he's changed. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe he's no longer with us. Who knows? May 2000, 16 ordinary Americans are marooned on a remote South China Sea island for Survivor Borneo. Then you had
Survivor.
I never watched
Survivor,
it.
and I think you'd also like The Amazing Race.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Maybe I'll check it out.
You'd be good on The Amazing Race.
I am pretty crazy. Like, fuck my body. I gotta win at all costs. Then there was Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire in 2000, if you remember that. 2001, we have Fear Factor. Just eating things like worms and all sorts of nasty shit.
No, thank you.
No, I would be out.
By the
I'd
way,
be like, I gotta go.
Lives off the grid on a farm and raises chicken in Minot, California.
I'm not surprised at all. In July 2001, we have Big Brother 2. He got this dude, Justin Seebeck, got evicted for pulling a knife on some woman named Krista Stagel. Do you remember this?
I never got into Big Brother.
Me neither.
That was when I wasn't that. It's weird what things I am into and what things I'm not.
Okay.
And I'll talk about that later.
Good. We're going to hustle through this now. So 2002, American Idol. Also 2002, The Osbournes, which I love. Sharon! Sharon!
Do you know I once almost auditioned I did audition for American Idol?
Did you?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
When it was at the Cow Palace.
We need a whole ass episode dedicated to that experience. We have 2003. That was The Amazing Race actually won, or the Emmys instituted an award honoring outstanding reality competition, and The Amazing Race won. So 2004, The Apprentice, we all know who that starred, He Who Shall Not Be Named. 2004, we have Survivor All-Stars. This couple, they went on to compete twice in The Amazing Race. They had their wedding aired as a CBS special. That's a lot, you guys. July 2005, 22 million people tuned in to see General Hospital's Kelly Monaco and partner Alex Alec Mazzo outstepped actor John O'Hurley and partner Charlotte Jorgensen to become the first winners of Dancing with the Stars.
I like that show.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah,
I'm into dancing. I'm into watching people do things I cannot do. March 2006, we get the first Real Housewives, started with Orange County. 2007, The Kardashians. 2009, hell yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Love.
I enjoy that immensely. I don't watch it religiously, but I do enjoy it. 2009, Jersey Shore, Gym Tan Laundry Bitches. And that's...
loved Jersey Shore.
I did too. I know. That's a guilty pleasure.
Too? The Anna Nicole show, I think, is a very interesting reality TV show.
It was interesting, especially given what happened to her and what was going on.
Like, we'll talk about kind of that responsibility of producers, because you're basically watching her, like, just fall apart.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
not fun. Where
not
it was like,
ethical.
this isn't fun.
No, it was like watching a train wreck.
Yes.
It was really sad.
Yes.
It was what is it called? A pain narrative or really sad.
Despair porn.
Yeah, that's what it was essentially. So, you know, I stopped the list at 2009, whatever. I feel like we've come far enough. I don't know what's coming out since. I mean, I know Selling Sunset is a relatively recent iteration of this nonsense. There's plenty out there, guys. You probably know better than I. So, you know, we talked about this in our Jerry Springer episode, but we're going to hit you with some fresh info as well. This is from a Medium article. We're going to look at what the appeal is. This Medium article is called The Psychology of Reality TV. So let's dissect, shall we? Reality television provides viewers with an opportunity to escape the monotony of their own lives, escape the problems and burdens of their own circumstances, and offers opportunities for emotional release.
I feel that.
Makes sense.
Ding, ding.
Makes sense.
True.
People who watch reality TV are also able to establish connections with characters.
I agree.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Reality television has the ability to blend information and entertainment. That's like what I like Rehab Addict.
Yes.
How do I fix my house?
And have cool glasses.
Yeah, she's amazing, and I've forgotten her name, but I got to look it up because I got to give her a shout out. You know, also in regard to reality television's ability to provide information, I've learned a lot about different things beyond that. Yeah, medical illnesses to fashion to dance. I think people are into it for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the Great British Bake Off.
I love that show.
I've never watched it once.
That's just a happy show.
Yeah, I bet it is. But it's going to make me hungry for cake.
Sponge.
I do love the Brits. But I also love cake. So I think that show would be dangerous for me. You know, I really liken this genre to a car accident on the highway causing bumper to bumper traffic. People can't help but to stop and stare because it's human nature to be fascinated by what we talked about, tragedy and things like extreme conflict. It can be hypnotic to watch, even when it's happening on television, or maybe especially when it's happening on television.
Absolutely.
Carolyn, give us the psychology on why our fascination with this dumpster fire burns so brightly.
It is a dumpster fire.
It is.
Well, okay. Can we just start with the fact that it's really what's available? Like, I'm sure there's some statistic out there that we can look up. I think, you know, it's like there's more than we could even talk about. I think it's actually rare to find dramas on the TV that you do like because it's either one or the other. It's like there's just so many, and there's something for everyone. Even if you don't like one thing, you'll like another, different formats, you know. So I think it's what's out there. Yeah. You know, so, you know, here's where, you know, it's controversial too. I think, you know, if you don't like it, people say, well, don't watch it. And like, well, should it be available? And should there be rules, or is that censorship? Yeah. And, you know, is it addictive? Is it not? You know,
sounds like we're talking about Jerry Springer again.
Right? Well, but in that same way where it's like, okay, and then there's also this idea that like, well, you're going to miss out. You know, and I mean, this is going to date us, but it's like, well, you wanted to see the last episode of Friends, you know, shout out Matthew Perry, you know, or you wanted to see the last episode of Seinfeld. There are episodes where you want to see the finale, or you want to see, you know, what happens. And, you know, I think there's a price to be paid though. And whether it's the viewer, but I really worry about the stars, the reality stars themselves. But, you know, let's just start with the fact. So again, it's what's available. It's also being marketed to us. So this is from 2011, $72 billion are being spent on television.
Wow.
That was in 2011. Imagine how much more that is now. But, you know, as far as media, you know, we're not like, I used to get my gossip from People magazine.
Yeah.
I used to even get my gossip from the internet.
Now you have TMZ, dog.
But I can watch, I don't watch the Kardashians, but you follow these shows and you follow these stars on social media to be caught up. It's a collective experience.
Well, they're also selling products too.
They are brands.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. Like, oh, Kardashian makeup. Have you tried that? I haven't tried it, but a lot of people are into that. And
I think you named how, you know, prior to the 2000s, reality TV really was reality.
Yeah.
Even some of the earlier Housewives, a lot of my stuff's going to be Housewives. So that's what I watch the most.
Yeah.
But it really actually was, let's take Real Housewives in Orange County and we're going to show their families, we're going to show their kids. And now it's like glam squads. I mean, they were wearing things from BB, which isn't even a store anymore, you know, or maybe it is probably
Juicy.
online. Yeah, but they just wore juicy. They were like me.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel represented by the Housewives, but you know what I mean? Like it was something that made sense. So, you know, I think that there's just so many out there. And like you said, there's a formula, you know, and it's the way it's filmed, the way it's produced, who the characters are, what's challenging about them.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you can look at this on a spectrum. Absolutely. If we look at it one way, it can be all bad. But we've also seen, like with Pedro, like not knowing that much about AIDS, someone would look at that and now they have a face, they have a person, they have an identity behind it.
Yeah.
So what we're actually talking about here from a psychological standpoint is something called mirroring. So again, think of that literally like when you hold up a mirror of yourself, you are seeing a reflection of you.
I feel like,
I know. I knew when I said that you were going to lose it.
We are going to do an emergency episode on the Twin Flame documentary that came out recently. And this cult that has been at work for a while and is still doing weird shit. But as you pointed out, they take real psychological exercises and turn them into something culty.
Absolutely. Well, and anything can be. Yeah. But mirroring's a thing. And like, you know, I think that's what reality TV show does. When we look at others, we are essentially looking at ourselves or what we don't see in ourselves. And what we observe and analyze in others, we often can hopefully learn about ourselves. Yeah. But it's an important because the image that we're judging is often shaped by our own personality experiences and biases. So when you are watching that, or when I am watching the show and I am mocking something or being just bitchy in my own way about, oh my God, I can't believe she just did that. Or, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, from Vanderpump Rules, I can't believe he cheated on her.
I've never seen that show.
That's a great show.
Yeah. So I hear.
Well, you know, so you're getting a way to be on your soapbox. You're getting a way to be on your pedestal and judge.
Moral high ground.
Moral high ground. And, you know, okay, so newsflash, everyone. None of us are perfect. Right. I am the most imperfect person.
I'm an asshole, you're an asshole.
I'm an asshole, you're an asshole. We all have our deficiencies and areas of personality that are underdeveloped and need work. That's a good, I don't say that's a good thing, but that's a good thing. You get to work on yourself constantly. And some of us are more aware and some of us are very unaware of these deficits. But when we observe this character doing things and defying boundaries or defying things that we wouldn't do, we get to judge that and we get to criticize them. And I guess that's that's part of our underdeveloped social fabric that kind of, we get to also be irritated.
Well, it plays into the way that women are socialized too. So often, I feel like this is slightly changing, but we're socialized to be really judgmental and critical of our fellow women. Yeah. And think about the stars of reality TV. It's a lot of women driven shows. You know, at least the ones I'm thinking about.
And I think that's the thing too, Jen. Like, there really is something for everyone. Like, my mom was really into watching, because she hated it, but she'd still watch it. Like, it was some, I don't even remember the name. We were just talking about this before we did the show, but it was like something about this polygamous, Sister Wives.
Oh, Sister Wives.
Yeah. And she would be like, I just can't stand it. I'm like, why are you watching this?
It's
She's like, I just hate them so much. I'm like, this is bad for you.
Hate watching.
Well, and so basically that's it. It's really easy to sit on your couch and judge, or sit from behind your laptop and judge others. And some people might do it because it's comforting and you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
Some people, it might make you question your behaviors. I think a lot of time, I'm a big documentary person.
Yeah.
Well, the reality TV is kind of like a documentary style, but you're seeing this content over time. You're seeing a character develop. You're seeing them change. You're seeing them grow, and you're remembering who they were. And so there's just something about it that feels you're part of it. And I think that, again, whether you call that a formula, whether that's just human experience, it's marketed to you that way.
Well, I mean, the producers of these shows understand how we work from a psychological perspective and what's going to appeal to us.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why it's a huge market.
Well, and you can find what appeals to you. You like home shows. You like repair because that's something you like to do. So you can watch and be like, oh, I don't like that.
Right.
Like I'm not a big Chip and Joanna person, but I love Nicole Curtis, the rehab addict.
Oh, yeah. She's
because I like her style.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, well, if I don't like this one thing, I can find something that I'm interested in.
Well, that's the thing too, the stats that you mentioned in terms of the value of the industry. 2011, think about the way that we consume
during the pandemic
content. Well, it's changed significantly. We don't even have cable. We have a smart TV with 1 million apps, and we get to determine what we want to watch and how much of it we want to watch in a single sitting. And human beings, we have addictive tendencies, whether it be food or sex or drugs or television.
Well, and there's like this voyeurism. I mean, who in the pandemic didn't watch Tiger King?
Oh, fuck yeah.
That was like part of a social...
Well, it was escapism.
Yes, and it was this
judgment.
Voyeuristic of like judging and just something to take your mind off the shit that was going on in your life. And that may be good or bad, right?
I know. Ordinarily, I'm like, don't judge unless you're in the situation. I know I would never go fucking Joe Exotic and like do terrible things
or
to
Carol
animals.
Baskin.
Or Carol Baskin. No, hail you cool cats and kittens. No, I got to draw the line somewhere.
But it became part of a social, what do you call that? Part of pop culture.
It did.
And that's the thing. These are 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes of that fame.
And if there's anything positive about that experience, it was the way that it connected so many of us during a time where we were physically separated from one another.
But we could all talk about that show.
We could all do that. Thank God for social media.
So I think we just named kind of why that does. And even like my mom, like being like, I hate it, but I have to see what happens because I just hate them.
Fucking train wreck, man.
So I don't know. That's the best I can make sense of unless you know something
It actually makes a lot of sense to me. So, we mentioned this over and over. We know there's a lot of different reality TV. So we're not trying to paint all of these shows with one broad brush stroke, but the consensus seems to be that these shows are actually mostly bad for you. This is from a Michigan Daily article. The author says, by itself, I don't think reality TV is necessarily harmful. Some shows might help viewers deepen a passion, like Bravo's Project Runway. Oh, I love Project Runway.
I loved Project
forgot about
Runway.
that one. Or Fox's Master Chef Junior. Cute. Never watched it. Sounds adorable. While others are pure background entertainment. TLC's Say Yes to the Dress. I also like that show. Or Netflix's Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. She puts these shows in a different category than the drama-fueled shows. The author goes on to say, on the other hand, shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and American Idol have created celebrities out of previously regular people. Suddenly our views, our attention, and our clicks are making a difference in a real person's lives. Participatory, like you said. Thanks to The X Factor, I've never heard of it, Harry Styles has a career. Thanks to Dance Moms, I've heard of that. We have JoJo Siwa. I've heard of her, and I think she's openly gay, so that's cool. Or LGBTQ. In this way, reality TV does have actual impacts and consequences in the real world. Reality TV's currency is attention. So producers will choose people that bring drama, emotion, and controversy. Good people with strong morals aren't necessarily high on the list when it comes to casting. Again, think of the Jerry Springer show. This isn't to say that all stars who rose to fame via reality TV are bad or don't offer some positive contribution to society. Ask any One Direction fan. I don't understand that either. But it makes power and influence too easily accessible to those who don't deserve it. Now, I want to ask you this. How does one determine who deserves fame and who doesn't? See,
I don't think you can.
That's a judgment call from the author.
I agree. And I think that, again, it's an opportunity to have choice. You're allowed to like. I believe as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're allowed to like who you like and not like who you don't like. The problem becomes who's viewing it.
Yes.
Who's monitoring that viewing? Is there conversation? Is there discussion? And also, is that the healthiest thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Like my husband used to teach econ in high school, and he's very fond of saying the consumer has all the power.
Yes.
So to say one is not worthy of fame by virtue of how they became famous is interesting, because we, the consumers, and the people who make those folks famous, make that determination. Well, we really do.
It's different now.
Yeah.
You can become famous through Instagram.
Yes.
Insta famous. And and through reality, it's say what you want, but the Kardashians created a multi-billion empire for them. I'm all for that. If you want to do what you want to do, what I think then becomes debatable is when people are saying, oh, well, this is how they're choosing to spend their money. They should be spending it here. Well, that's none of your goddamn business.
We live in a capitalist society where people can make money however they see fit, for the most part, within, the construct of what we determine to be legal versus illegal. Yeah. And you can have moral and ethical dilemmas with it. Yeah. And in which case I would say, well, don't watch it.
Right.
Don't buy their products.
Yeah.
Don't.
I can't afford Skims.
No.
I want it. I can't afford that shit.
Good American actually is an amazing brand.
I love Good American.
They make the best dresses and the best jeans. And they are very into fashion for everybody.
Yeah.
No matter what your body size or type, there's something for you. And I have to appreciate that sentiment, at least.
And being represented. I think that, again, when you go back to who deserves it? Well, I'm much happier seeing the world presented in, not all, but some of the reality TV shows that we have.
Yeah.
Because at least it's a different view of people who don't look like me.
Right. Right. And there is more diversity in reality TV than there used to be. And so I appreciate that.
Well, and then I remember Bill might remember this, because in Davis, they did a sorority show.
I'm sure he remembers
and it
this.
was a Jewish sorority.
Oh, cool.
And I went to nursery school with one of the girls, but I remember the hate talk was like, oh, well, look at how these Jewish girls are representing themselves. And this is not what Judaism is. So you get, then you become the poster child for, all Jewish people. And then we're all, and so that I think is something to talk about, in that, again, that wouldn't necessarily happen in a lot of, everyone kind of accepts the OC women are weird and just do what they do. But, it's then you have to be watching all these different genres to be able to make a blanket statement. And there's no way.
And that's a whole episode unto itself.
Oh, yes.
Are people from a particular group who have a platform somehow representatives for all people of that group? No. And if you think that that's the case, I would say that is not the case. No. I don't feel like I'm an ambassador for all women. I don't feel like
I don't want that job.
No. Anyway, we digress. But actually, it's all related. So, the name it isn't to say, like we said, that all media or all reality TV stars are bad, whatever. Yeah. But the name, it's the name reality TV. It's implicit of what we're seeing on the screen is real, or at least based on real life. Yeah. But in truth, that is not reflective of many people's experiences.
I don't think so.
So what makes reality TV so harmful is that it leads to us believing that what we see is real and raw when it isn't the truth at all. But I also found some statistics, I can't talk tonight, that debate what's being said here in terms of people believing that what they see is real. Mm-hmm. So, watching reality TV, I think this is a more salient point, can lead viewers to feel anxious about their appearance.
Yes.
It's been reported that watching reality TV causes 25% of viewers to worry about their body image, especially shows like Miss America. Go back and revisit our episode, or America's Next Top Model. I mean, I know after watching Selling Sunset briefly, I was like, oh, I want to change my hair. I can't afford the shit that these women have, but I'm like, I can maybe impersonate to an extent.
See, and that's interesting, because that's one of the main reasons I like watching reality TV show. Yeah. And this makes me just more of a white girl than anything. But I love Sex and the City, the original one. And now when I look back at it, I'm like, this is horrible.
It's problematic, but very reflective of the time.
But I liked looking at the fashion.
Yes.
And I would mimic, I'd watch Carrie. The first time I did electric eel eyeliner for MAC was because I saw Carrie wearing that, and so I would emulate that, and I would do that. I would watch to see like, ooh, what's the new bag, or what's the new this, or what are they wearing? And so, but I would say that anything you consume, I know what question you're kind of leading me towards is, well, from a psych perspective, is this problematic? Yeah. And absolutely. Because, again, we would say kind of in, what would it be, like the 80s and 90s, looking at Vogue or consuming too much supermodels. Yeah. Did that give people an eating disorder? Okay, well, causation, correlation, right? So, this is actually funny because you're taking me back to statistics, because I looked at moderation versus mediation and this nuance of something called the Goldilocks effects that happens. But, I'm just going to say, hands down, moderation is the key to life. That's an article written by Carolyn Floor in Psychology Today 2017. But when when we are talking about, and moderation and mediation are statistical concepts. And I wrote about it, but I'm probably going to massively fuck this up, Jen, because I never did well at statistics.
Neither did I.
Oh, I gotta get good at it though, but it's very difficult. I don't know. It's just my brain thinks differently. But you always want to ask yourself. So when you're thinking about anything you're doing, whether it's, and I'm going to say media. Okay. And when I say that, I'm including TV, radio, news, anything. Yeah. You have to ask yourself, does this and how this influence my health? Does and how are kind of the two questions you want to ask.
Does this influence my health, and how does it influence my health?
Okay, so anytime you ask yourself that question, you're going to be looking at that concept of moderation. And we usually can agree that moderation is key. Yeah. And looking at how something affects your health and well-being and I'm going to say success, but I don't mean monetarily. I really mean socially and relationships. Got it. So if anything you're doing is impacting those realms, I don't think it is good for you. Sure. However, that's me as Carolyn. I can't do that, but I know people who can absolutely do their laptop work and have all these things going on. I can't function that way.
No, neither can I.
So, for me, that doesn't. So I think it very much is a self-report if other things are flailing in your life. But when you're looking at any health psychology studies, they usually have to demonstrate relationships among biological, psychological, behavioral, and social forces. Okay. So you can never just say, well, this is good or this is bad. Yes. Because each of those things is going to have that underlying casual mechanisms and processes by which psychosocial factors always are going to influence our health. Sure. So when you ask how, when, for whom, which, and under what conditions, that's sort of a research approach, right? Yes. That's when you're actually really trying to identify, this is what you do in psychological assessments. When someone's saying, well, this is bad for me,
Depends on who you are.
Tell me a little bit about this. Tell me about this. Tell me about this, right? So we have to pay attention to that additional third variable, right? That can explain how two variables are related. Yes. So mediation and moderation are two examples of this detailed examination of relations between two variables. I'm doing pretty good.
You are.
No, explaining this. I'm impressed with myself.
I'm pretty basic and I'm understanding.
So again, this gets into basic statistics, and we are not, here's where it is problematic too. Are we the best at assessing what is always happening to us in the moment?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Maybe in retrospect, not in the moment.
Amazing. And, and again, I will say the older I get, and I've done a lot of fucking work on myself, yes, I can kind of go, okay, wait, what's happening right now? Why are you stressing? Like, what's this about? What are you doing here? So I don't ever think there's a one size fits all approach. That's just stupid if you do. Yeah. But what you can and can't do is not comparable to me. Uh-huh. So I can like a show and say, hey, that's really fun for me today. And that's kind of how it was when I was in grad school. Going home and watching something stupid and mindless was a relaxation thing. I cannot watch reality TV these days when it's those types of fighting and just dumb shit that's going on, because I listen to that half the time all day. Oh, sure. And I need a break from it. So for me now, that isn't good. But when I'm on vacation, I'll binge watch
exactly. What is good and not good for you, and those are very simplistic. Yeah, it could be changed from day to day, absolutely, depending on where you're at emotionally, psychologically.
I'm a moody ass person.
Yeah, totally.
Things throw me off.
Yeah, there are times, at night when my husband and I are trying to determine what to watch, and I'm like, you know what?
I can't.
I don't want to think. Just put on The League.
Yeah.
Like, The League is hilarious. I know I've seen this episode 100 times, but you know what? I just want to laugh and relax. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, okay, you can put on The Bear. I'm okay being anxious.
Yes.
Music in my face and people shuffling around a kitchen at top speed. For the love of God, I need to finish that show.
Yeah, it's so
I think I have one episode left.
Oh, tell me
possibly
when you're done.
two.
So
I will. We'll break that down. We should do like a breakdown episode of that show because there's a lot to unpack, as we said in grad school. Anyway, we're not going down that road tonight, and that's also not reality TV.